This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, my friends, into the Superfans Podcast. I am Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, Sean?
And Dave Oster.
Hey there.
And today we're going to be talking about the Chicago White Sox signing Yasmani Grandal and re-signing Jose Abreu. We'll be talking about Zach Levine getting benched by Jim Boylan. And then we'll be talking about the Bears and should they draft a new quarterback, right? It's draft?
Yeah.
Is it draft?
Yeah.
We've given up on.
You're right.
Because we covered
Draft?
Cam.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right. You guys covered Cam without me.
Unless you want to talk about should they sign Colin Kaepernick.
Do you want the...
We should.
I want to start off with this.
not?
Can I start off with a rant?
Go ahead.
Is that
I'll
okay?
allow it.
This
You're
is
the
gonna be-
host.
We're
Rant
going to let
away.
this go like
So-
the jump. You can have your opening rant.
Here's the thing with the because this is going
I
to
like
start
it.
off.
Take off headphones.
This is going to start off with the Grandal thing, but
Okay.
I want to start off with because we
Go
mentioned the
ahead.
Cam
It's-
stuff,
It's a podcast.
and this doesn't matter for the Bears thing. So you guys recorded the Cam Newton stuff, and the best moment of my life was driving down I-94 going north towards Milwaukee and seeing that the Bears got Khalil Mack. Because I didn't know it was a possibility. I didn't see him in rumors. It wasn't suffocating me for 3 goddamn weeks. I cannot go week by week listening to this Cam Newton bullshit. You know what's not happening? Them trading Cam Newton. You know what I don't need? Bears fans being like, hey, they should go get that Cam Newton guy. You know what's not happening? Cam Newton. Let's get it out of our fucking Twitter feeds. I don't need to see Cam Newton's going to be the next Chicago Bears quarterback because, A, it's a waste of my goddamn time because it's not going to happen. And 2, I don't think he's going to fit this team. So let's just stop on the Cam Newton bullshit because it's not happening. Quit dreaming of shit that's not going to happen. Cam Newton's not going to be a goddamn Bear. Tom Brady's not going to be a goddamn Bear. You might get Ryan Tannehill. Congratulations.
What about
the only
Colin
time
Kaepernick?
that this quarterback rumor shit has ever worked out and we've actually gotten the guy was Mike fucking Glennon. So let's get off this goddamn bullshit. I'm sick of Cam Newton talk. I'm sick of Tom Brady talk. I'm not sick of Tom Brady talk, but I'm sick of all these, Andy Dalton talks as well. Let's finish out the season before we start talking about things that's going to happen in April and May. It's obnoxious.
But Sean,
God.
what if we did?
God. You know what did happen? Yasmani Grandal is a Chicago White Sox, and I was juiced for it.
I
It
like
was
how you say White Sox.
White Soxes.
The
You
Sox.
dropped in
The Sox.
It's a Chicago. Joe Burrows.
Jules. For 4 years, $73 million for Yasmani Grandal. No trade clause in 2020. Limited trade clause, no trade clause in 2021, 2023. I was absolutely excited for this signing. I woke up at noon and it was already an hour before that they signed him. So I woke up to some great news and I just sat in my bed giddy for this because we got Yasmani Grandal and the White Sox signed they signed a big name free agent to a massive contract. The most largest contract ever signed by a Chicago White Sox free agent. I'm so excited I can't even talk right now.
I was
I'm not even
shocked
making
when it
sense.
happened too. I didn't know that was coming. I had no expectations that we would actually throw out that kind of money. That was a big thing to me.
I didn't even
not
think a
shocked.
free agent was going to sign this.
I figured
See,
they'd go all in.
That's the thing.
Yeah, jump.
So I'm not shocked that they signed a deal because the whole talk was that they were going to go sign somebody. They even offered the Machado deal that was $275. So the money didn't shock me too much, and I'm not shocked that Yasmani Grandal is a White Sox. I'm just shocked that it happened so soon. And I'm shocked that they made this move and locked it up so early. And that's why I'm excited for this offseason. And I can't wait to be disappointed because then the next day they went up and got Jose Abreu and re-upped him. He has signed his qualifying offer for $17.5 million, so it's not too shocking that this happened. But he's going to be locked up until 2022. 2020 he'll make $11 million. He also has, I think, a $5 million signing bonus that year as well. So he's going to get, or there's bonuses for $5 million. I think with the wording was from Jeff Passan. Then in 2021, he'll make $16 million. And then in 2022, he'll make $18 million. And then he also has a no-trade clause in 2020 and then a limited no-trade clause in 2021. So those were the two moves the White Sox made. They made them early as well. So, Dave, you were talking about how shocked you were about the money handed out. So you talk about that before we get into the earliness of the signing and why that's intriguing to me.
It's uncharacteristic for us to actually close out a deal. And I expected if we were throwing down money, it would have been towards pitching. That was I was going for one of those big name pitchers that we've been just tantalizing out in front of us for basically the last month. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna get somebody, it's gonna be a pitcher. It's gonna be our ace. It's gonna be our guy. And instead, we go ahead and it's spent on a catcher who, credit, he's a fantastic catcher.
Third best catcher in the league.
Yeah. The problem is that it was just I did not see that coming. I didn't see a positional player getting that money from us out the gates because I thought, if anything, we swing for the fences on the pitching. We go for the big name, and then if we don't land that. Then after, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, like as the offseason for baseball continues on, then we can go ahead and unload some money on a positional player. It was just the order of events and how, like you said, how quickly it happened. I did not have the same priorities that I guess the White Sox had in my mind for them.
Yeah, largest deals for the White Sox. Grandal beats the Jose Abreu deal inked in 2013. That was 6 years, $68 million. Then Paul Konerko comes in third, 5 years, $60 million in 2005. Then the Adam Dunn contract comes in 2010, 4 years, $56 million. Then Albert Bell in 1996 for $55 million. So the actual free agent deal, this finally eclipsed the Albert Bell deal in 1996, which was the longest actual free agent deal that wasn't signed by a player that was already under contract or an extension like Paul Konerko was, or Jose Abreu, which was an international signing. So yeah, Albert Bell was, I think, people always talk about the Albert Bell contract being one of the ones. Maybe it was just like adjusted for inflation because the Dunn one beats it as well. But yeah, the money isn't too shocking to me because it seems like they've built it up to, all right, we're going to spend either last year or this year. Machado was different because he was so young. He still fit the age range where Grandal's 31. He's not 26 like Machado was. That's why he's not getting a massive deal. But for a switch-hitting catcher, his framing is great. And a lot of people brought up the James Mccann thing. We'll get into that next. But the immediacy of how early it was signed. We saw Will Smith sign a deal last week with the Braves for $40 million, left-handed relief pitcher, formerly of the Giants. So we knew that deals were happening a little bit sooner, but this is pretty shocking that one of the top 5 free agents is gone this early compared to what we saw last year where Craig Kimbrel and Dallas Keuchel weren't even signed to midseason.
And Bryce Harper.
But Kimbrel and Keuchel were in the middle of the actual season.
But Harper
was
wasn't
spring
until
training.
right before. Yeah. And the thing that I think is that plays into it so much because now what this sets the White Sox up for is, hey, if this would have happened, let's say the same time around Bryce Harper, right before spring training, then you're kind of like shuffling or you're trying to make moves around it. Now the White Sox know, hey, we got this guy. He's locked down. Now they can make power moves at other free agents. Like, for example, Anthony Rendon, who Jim Bowden of The Athletic, according to him, the White Sox are a potential surprise destination for Rendon. I wouldn't be surprised if now with Grandal on this team, they could now make a push of like, see, we got Grandal. Think about what we could do with you on this team. And now they can make even a bigger push for a guy like Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, I think what the earliness of this signing means for me is not that they're going to go push for one of those bigger free agents. I'm not expecting Anthony Rendon. If I do, I would be elated more than this Grandal thing. I don't think this means either for a Cole or Strasburg. I don't think this is what this move means. But I do think it means that they're going to make a play on Zack Wheeler. That's been heavily reported now. Yep. But I think it's showing them that the free agents especially, not only are we going to make moves, but we're going to make moves to help you. Because this is a guy that is a great framer. This is a guy that is a very good defender. This is a guy that's going to help you out in your lineup as well. And now we have 2 catchers in James Mccann and Yasmani Grandal, probably the best battery in the MLB right now that defensively and offensively can help you night in, night out. There was so much talk last year from the White Sox about how professional James Mccann is and how much he brings to game plans and how much he helps these guys in what they want to throw and what to throw to batters. He is so detailed and he helps these guys. And now Grandal brings that framing into it. So it just gives them options that every day behind the plate, they're either going to give a guy that's going to help them in the strike zone or a guy that's going to help them at least game plan on how to face each and every batter. And you have so much professionalism behind the plate that's going to help you pitch, and it's going to help you even succeed more than you have in New York like Zack Wheeler or Atlanta and Houston like Dallas Keuchel. So that's the thing that I think they're trying to make for is that they went out and make this move to signal to pitchers that, hey, this isn't a destination that you are going to fail in. We want to set you up in the right spot because I don't think they're looking for a Rendon play just because the money's a lot there. And I think that he's not a natural fit, at least position-wise, because, yes, you could put him at second base. He could play that very well. And I'm not against Anthony Rendon signing here with the White Sox, but I'm just talking myself out of it mainly because I don't think it's a necessarily right fit.
Yourself.
I don't want to overhype myself, but I just don't think they're players in it. Bowden's saying that they're surprised, but so many times with that surprise stuff, it's just ways to
get a fan base
to get a fan base there, but I don't think Jim Bowden has a reason to do that. What Jim Bowden's getting is information likely from an agent, like, oh, these are teams that have talked to us. Yeah. So they're probably saying the agent's probably feeding him to as a surprise team because teams are like, oh, well, this team has money. This team's clearly trying to make moves. They've probably kicked their tires on Rendon. Hey, how much was it for him to sign with us? What is he looking for? They probably had very inquiry type conversations with him, and he's probably describing it as a surprise one because they have the money to do it. Yep. It would be a surprise to sign him because, holy shit, they spent a shit ton of money, but it's more to just scare teams into like, all right, we're going to have a lot of competitors.
These are competitors you gotta pay up now. Yeah,
exactly. It's really just his agent doing his best work for, it's Scott Boras, too. I want to make sure which agent. It's Scott Boras trying to make sure Anthony Rendon gets the most money possible.
We talked about last week how Scott Boras was like, hey, teams are going to look at the White Sox differently.
Yeah,
players are going to look at them differently.
He's not wrong, and that's why Grandal signed so early, because the White Sox didn't fuck around. They gave him the money that he wanted, and he said on 670 Score on the McNeil and Parkin show.
Plug.
Yep, absolutely a plug. Shout out to Danny and Danny Mac and Chris Tannehill and Nick Shepkowski. 2 to 6 on 670score.com and 104.3 WBMX HD2 streaming, and watch 670score.com. Anyways, he said on the interview with them that his main goal was to win. And now, as a White Sox fan, I'm like, we're going to do it.
All that was for his main goal is to win. We got a 40-second plug for his main goal is to win.
Definitely. Most podcast. Watch everything here.
Yes.
Sean, you are bringing it quality to the table.
But what he said was, his main goal was to win. But I tweeted this out and I said, he seems like a smart guy. He took a short contract last year, a 1-year contract, to then get paid this year. He knew the market was down last year. So then, hey, let's take a short contract this year and let's go into a more healthier market next year. And it obviously cleared out and worked for him. And then when he was asked on that show, he said, what are his goals are for this year? He said, win. Haven't thought of personal goals. I have 2 loser rings, and I want a winner ring. So, because he was on the Dodgers and
the Brewers.
No, but he was on the Dodgers twice when they lost in the World Series. I think, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Now I'm just questioning if the Dodgers were on 2 losing World Series.
Yes, they were. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you're correcting me, but give me some proof.
He's
I'm
Googling.
looking it up.
Yeah, because he was on the Red Sox and the Astros.
Oh.
No, when he lost to the Red Sox
he
and
was
Astros.
on the Padres, Dodgers, Brewers.
Yeah,
Dodgers was 15 to 18.
Yeah, so he lost twice with the Dodgers to the Red Sox and Astros.
Yes.
I was trying to think of which World Series, not the teams. And he has a relationship with Ricky Renteria too, because he was a bench coach in San Diego. But I just feel like he wouldn't, if he didn't believe it, he wouldn't be here. And maybe that's just me as a White Sox fan, but that's another reason why I'm so amped up, is I think that this guy who's been in so many organizations believes that this team is heading in the right direction, that if they spend their money right, they can actually be a team that can win a championship. And right now they're not at that, even with the Grandal signing. They're not at that with the Abreu signing. But I just think that this team can finally make the right steps and strides to get there.
Yeah, say our core is growing, and I think, like you mentioned, having someone who has his age and his experience in that clubhouse is huge. Like Abreu is the emotional leader, I think, a lot of the time, because he's been around for a bit. He's a very calm, collected guy. And bring in Grandal, someone with that experience, someone with that it factor to his game right now. I think it's perfect. It's as we transition our team from rebuild to contend, that he's the right kind of guy to bring into a clubhouse.
Yeah, and the thing with that too is there's now, I think, a ton of there's Robert, who's going to be called up at some point, or Robert. That's going to become called up probably in April or May, depending on service time. I hope they call him up on opening day because he could play right now. But Robert, he's Cuban. Abreu, Cuban.
Yep.
Moncada, Cuban. And Grandal, he's Cuban. They have some of the best Cuban players in the world right now on their team. That's why I wouldn't be shocked if they make a shot at Puig. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they go after him, just because of, he's probably the largest Cuban player right now in the MLB. I do wonder, though, with all of that said, when it comes to what they're trying to look for now is they have the clubhouse leader, but one name that I've heard in some rumors is Castellanos, and that they're really intrigued on him. And then someone said, like, oh, he's a clubhouse guy. And I was like, how many, like, I don't think clubhouse guys are bad things, but, like, what's the whole thing about clubhouse guys? Like, was Jose Abreu really worth that contract? Because his actual value doesn't seem worth 3 years, $50 million. Well, I mean, if you're bringing in Castellanos, too, like, what's the point of having 2 clubhouse guys? Like, I would rather just have the talent. Like,
I think the problem is we saw it happen on the north side. No offense, but like I'd love to hear your opinion on this because this is a team where it felt like when everything clicked for them, they had that clubhouse guy there, and that's the face of the face of the clubhouse. So when you have the talent and you don't have that to balance it out, like to make sure they keep even, if they hit a bump in the road, things don't go poorly and tumble downward.
Yeah, they loved the clubhouse guy so much that they hired him as the manager.
Yeah.
But even then, like, they talked about through this whole, like, after Ben Zobrist's divorce, like, they talked about, like, oh, he's a clubhouse guy, he's a leader in this. They went 22-25 with him on the roster. And then they went 7-13 when he came back after his divorce. The clubhouse guy didn't mean shit to him. I mean, give me a guy that's going to actually help you win games.
Yeah, a clubhouse guy doesn't mean you're going to win games, but it's important to have guys on the roster that, because baseball is such a long season. I'm going to say this, Dave. How long did we spend with each other over the summer?
Way too long.
Did you want to kill me by the end of it?
You know what? I didn't.
You said
you just killed all of Ricky's.
You said a different thing after we got back.
I think
maybe because you were in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
My point
absolutely.
is,
I needed some time.
My point is, take that, and now instead of the time we spent together, it's an entire baseball season.
Yeah, I can't imagine
you need a guy
together with guys that
you
much.
need a guy that is going to keep it light. You need a guy that's going to get the guys' heads off of baseball sometimes, or else they're just going to kill each other.
Yeah, and with that, though, Castellanos seems like a super intense guy. He said every day's opening day. Every hit's one more closer to 3,000.
We don't know what they're like behind doors.
Yeah,
when those clubhouse doors
I'm not
close.
saying that he isn't a fun guy, but I'm just saying, like,
the image right now from his interviews.
Everything that he's putting out is that he wants to win.
Plus,
which is fine.
There are some guys that can turn it on the field, and then once they step off, boom, it's like a switch.
My thing is like, but I don't know if it's the brevity guy. I think that David Ross, the reason why they love him in the clubhouse was that he was on everyone's ass. So maybe Castellanos is that.
You need someone to be the accountability guy.
Yeah, but then the whole point of Jose Abreu is he's the accountability guy. Like, how many fucking accountability guys do I need? What the fuck is the point of a manager?
2 or 3 is a good number.
I don't know. Don Cooper's Mr. Hardass.
You need the team dad. For one,
that's
you need
Don
the accountability guy.
You need
that's
the older
Jose
brother.
Abreu.
Yeah,
and what are we?
You need the goofy,
and then you need the fun uncle.
Yeah, you need the fun uncle.
Are we gonna need Jose Abreu to like talk to the Cuban players, and then Nick Castellanos to talk to the?
You need a translator.
Players? Like the American players.
It's
like
very important.
It's so stupid. Like, I don't need a clubhouse guy. Like,
I
give me
think
a guy
it's
that's gonna hit the ball and play decent defense. Castellanos can drill a ball, and we saw that in the north side.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. I think he's got decent splits in U.S. Cellular, which I'm fine with, but. He's not that great of a defender, and I was thinking about this last night. If you have not that great of a defender in right field, in Nick Castellanos, then not that great of a defender in Eloy Jimenez in left field, and Tim Anderson, who has great range but made 26 errors last year, and then you have Jose Abreu, who's also not that good of a defender. Right there, 4 of your 8 positions, obviously not including the pitcher because that changes every 5 days, even within a game. It could be changed inning to inning. Half of your defense isn't good. And then you have catcher with Grandal, who is good. Good framer. Okay throwing out guys. Okay glove. But very good framer. Moncada, who's very good. Robert, who's a rookie, but has the ability to be very good. And then you have possibly Yolmer at second, who just won a Gold Glove. That's second base. Like, second base isn't that hard. So I just want to say, like, this defense might be
second base is the least impactful
garbage.
I want to see you take live grounders from an MLB player.
If Ben Zobrist can do it,
base.
I could absolutely play second base.
All right, I want to see that.
I'm just saying, like, Yolmer Sanchez isn't a bad defender. I'm not saying that. If you're winning a Gold Glove at something, you're clearly a good defender. But, like, how many? Like, you look at how many old guys have played second base. Like, Brian Dozier was playing second base. Jeff Kent played second base till he was like 40. Craig Biggio, I think, was playing second base. It's you need to be very in the right positions, but you need to be super athletic to play that position.
You're not covering as much ground.
All I want to say. So, like, our best defender literally might be at the easiest position to defend.
And you're already trying to replace him at times, too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess first base would be, but even then, our first base.
No, it's
guy
first
isn't
base.
that
You have
good.
to have a good hand. You have to be good for pickoffs. You have to be good at swipes.
Yeah, you have to be
got a
very
little
good
bit
at
of
scooping
versatility
and stuff.
to
Yeah, but I played first base. First base is fucking easy. First base was fun. But anyways, I played it in 8th grade, so maybe I shouldn't be comparing it to the MLB.
basically professional.
Yeah, Oaklawn fall ball is pretty much the Major League Baseball
There you go.
league. But I'm worried about the defense on this team, and the Abreu contract worries me too because yes, it's less this year, which means you can give a ton of money to people in the
Right.
first year.
Lock 'em up.
But then what's it going to mean? So and you also have Andrew Vaughn. There's been talks about moving Eloy to first base. There's talks of with this Grandal signing too that when McCann's catching like Giolito, that you move him to first base because he can play first base. So like you just gave him $50 million to be a clubhouse guy. Like, are we fucking kidding me here? He's gonna be 35 at the end of this contract. This is ridiculous. So at some points, I've loved this White Sox season off season. I love the Grandal signing. This White Sox
3 words, any order you want to choose them.
White Sox offseason signings. I've loved this White Sox offseason so far because you get Grandal.
Yeah.
But there's the Abreu contract's concerning to me because of the years on it and then the fact that it goes up in years. So it goes from 11 to 16 to 18. I would much rather see that flipped. I would rather
agree.
see 18, 16, 11.
Yeah.
But in the end of it, if they're able to go out to get a top of the rotation guy,
Well,
like
that's
a
my
Zack
thing.
Wheeler.
Do you think that? So this is the start of the spending. Do you think that we're gonna pay for? You know, at what point it's if we land an ace, then we still need depth in the outfield, like you said.
Yeah.
Are those still the 1 and 2 priorities for us right now? Is ace outfield?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This goes into what I was going to ask you guys at the end because obviously I'm a Cub fan.
Ask it now.
Is
Because I'll get into my
so
stuff.
there are so many other needs for this team. I'm just going to give you a need. You tell me who would be your ideal guy for the White Sox to target.
Yeah.
Now that Grandal is signed, the first one I have on the list is DH. Many people are saying Encarnacion makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys thinking for DH?
Honestly, I think it's somewhat solved. I don't think you need a guy to go out and sign a guy for DH right now.
I think you just shuffle. I think you can shuffle your existing.
You have Eloy that can DH. You have Abreu who could DH. He says he doesn't like DHing. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Put him at DH.
Yep.
Fucking hit. No, sorry, you're not gonna play the field.
Yep.
Like, who's gonna complain about that? Sorry, you're not gonna stay at first base and possibly get a grounder. You're not even that good of a first baseman. You could have Abreu who could DH. You could have Eloy who could DH. You could have Grandal DH. You could have Mccann DH.
Yeah.
So I think you have enough bats to fill out that DH spot, and it's way better than what we had last year. So DH I think is pretty much solved. If they want to add a bat like Edwin Encarnacion, I'm not against it because power bats. We saw what Nelson Cruz did. He could absolutely change an offense. So if they're going out and adding it, that's fine. But it's
the
one of those.
cost is what matters the most at that point because it shouldn't be our number 1 priority.
It's a lower need.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a very lower need for this team. So I'm not too worried about the DH spot. So what's the other one?
Right field.
Right field, I want them to trade for Starling Marte.
Okay.
It's a bat.
Oh.
He's a righty, and he's pretty decent in the field. Get on base. Want Starling Marte. He's a Pirates player right now.
Is this wish list or is this
trade him.
feasible?
It's feasible. He's not that expensive, and he's not like a stud. He's not like a 5-win WAR player, and and the Pirates are looking to move people always. So I wouldn't be shocked if Starling Marte is on the trade block right now, and I would like them to get him because I want a player that can have that makeup of a contact bat that can get on base and that can play right field. And we saw what Adam Eaton was doing in right field when he was playing there.
Yeah.
He was such a good defender out there. I think if you have a great defender out there, Marte too, it's a pretty easy right field to play. I think is what I've heard. I could be wrong. It could be one of the harder ones. I know it's not Wrigley bad though. And I know it's not Red Sox bad because there's a ton of grass to cover out there, and you got the pesky pole and all that stuff. So, but I think it's one of the easier ones to traverse. So if you put a really good defender out there, it's just even amplified.
Yeah.
So I think that Marte could be a really nice addition to right field. I wouldn't be against Castellanos, but if Castellanos is then our DH, you could play the outfield a little bit too. I wouldn't be against that.
Kind of mix and match
But I would
them.
rather have Starling Marte over Nick Castellanos.
The other thing about Marte is the Mets have now jumped into his sweepstakes. So it's another team trying to get in there. The other two are pitching, starter, reliever.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand in my mind.
You need 2 starters. Zack Wheeler is the name I want. I know Sam wants Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Yeah.
I would go with Zack Wheeler, though. His numbers, I feel, are better, and he's getting better after
They're
coming off
trending
two Tommy Johns. They didn't get better last year. His 2018 was better when it comes to ERA and WHIP, so he was actually better in 2018. But 3.31 ERA in 2018, 3.96 in 2019. But his FIP, field independent pitching, was 3.25, which means that his ERA should typically be closer to that number. So it was pretty much the same. It was lower than his actual ERA was, 3.31, and then his FIP in 2019 was 3.48. So his ERA was actually a bit inflated by that number. So he should be around a 3.5 ERA pitcher. I'd absolutely take that, especially for striking out 9 guys a game like he's been doing. So I think he'd be a great addition, especially with a great catcher that can frame like a Yasmani Grandal, or a guy that is such a great preparer like a
basically
James
another
McCann.
coach on the field.
Yeah, I would absolutely love Zack Wheeler out there, and plus I love guys who throw 100. Come on, Hyun-Jin Ryu, though. I mean, he's been very good, and he has time with Grandal as his catcher, which is probably the most intriguing part about that for him, because Grandal caught him in 2018, and when he was their catcher, of course I can't find it. I just had it pulled up, and now I can't find it. Awesome. He had a 2.61 ERA over 11 games with Grandal.
That's pretty good.
59 strikeouts over 58 innings. And then I think does it have it on there? It doesn't have FIP on there. But he was under.
Oh.
I think his WHIP was pretty much at 1 or a little bit over 1. But he had a very good FIP in 2018. So last time he caught him over 11 games. It was very good. So I mean, that's
an encouraging sign.
They've had very good numbers with each other. And then Grandal in 2017 too. He caught him, and let me find that. Sorry for this. There it is. 3.31 ERA, and then 80 strikeouts over 84 innings, and then 32 walks and 84 hits. So a much inflated WHIP there, but it's a little bit intriguing that it went down from 2018. He has been becoming a better pitcher. So
absolutely,
I wouldn't be against Hyun-Jin Ryu or Zack Wheeler as your ones that you sign, or I guess Giolito would be your 1, and then your 2 starters. And then you need to go out and get another guy to fill out that 5th spot, because I don't trust any of the other guys. Rodon's not going to be back until July or June, I think. Kopech's coming off Tommy John, so I don't trust him, although he's going to be healthy for the start of the year. Ronaldo Lopez is up and down. He can strike out 15 and then give up 15.
Yeah, he is intense.
He needs to fix a lot when it comes to his actual mechanics. Because there was a thing that was great when he was pitching one of the days that Steve Stone was saying, like, he's throwing his changeup wrong. And then after that game, he started throwing his changeup right, and I think he struck out 15.
It's just, just mechanics, inconsistent.
Yeah, so he's got to become more consistent with his mechanics. So I don't trust that enough, so I think you need to bring in a 5th starter. A guy like Tanner Roark would make sense to me. Cole Hamels would make sense to me. A guy that, has been there before. I wouldn't be against bringing Ivan Nova back because he did pitch with him at least last year. Keuchel, I think, is going to be too much money for them to get, for them to sign as their guy. I wouldn't be also shocked if they get like Felix Hernandez, although I don't want to see him in a White Sox uniform. Or Alex Wood would be interesting too. He had a really good year with L.A., pitched with Grandal before, was injured last year with Cincinnati, so he would be an interesting one. But I think that would be the guys that I would go with. So I would say that, one
top of the line is Wheeler.
2 guy, Wheeler and Hyun-Jin Ryu, and then the other guys like the guys that I mentioned, like Nova, Hamels,
just
Felix Hernandez, Clay Buchholz, I think would be interesting. Hellickson or Alex Wood, I think those are the names that I would be interested in.
Is there a closer specifically, or do you feel like closer? Because I'm almost like on the fence on like, do we need to land a closer right now? I think that's one that if we don't hit now, you can always look mid-season. There's always someone floating.
I don't hate their bullpen as of right now. Colomé was their closer last year, and he did a fine job. I think he blew like 3 saves. I don't know if he's the guy for sure, but Bummer's been great. I think Jace Fry has a lot of potential. Kelvin Herrera's been pretty good. Evan Marshall's pretty decent. They do need to add another bullpen arm out there, but I don't think it's like massively necessary. It's more necessary than DH, but I don't think it's going to be something as pressing as like they need a closer, top of the line guy. They don't need like to go out and spend a ton of money on one of those guys. I wouldn't be against though, like getting a Will Harris from Houston or getting a Daniel Hudson back from the Nationals. I wouldn't be against any of that. Or a Colin McHugh. He's a guy who could do starting and relief pitching. So I think you could add a guy for sure, but I don't think it's pressing to say. So I think those were the additions that I would make as of right now.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's all I have.
All right, sweet.
That's all I have.
Cool. That's going to do it for the White Sox episode. I talked for a ton. Or the White Sox segment. Jesus, I talked too much today. I don't know how to speak. Let us know what you think about the White Sox, and tell me I'm a bum ass, because I am.